Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing.
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie, and today I have fall DIYs for you. And my theme today was woodland animals. So let's get started. Now for the first DIY, we're going to use one of these $3 Dollar Tree Plus pumpkins. Had to go a couple towns over, but I was really impressed with like the fall and Halloween at a Dollar Tree Plus. Look how large and detailed this green pumpkin is. I think it's going to be perfect for this DIY. Now, this is what we're going to use for this DIY. It's sisal twine, and I did not get it at Dollar Tree. I couldn't find anything like this at Dollar Tree, so I did have to go to Walmart for that. I think it was about $4, and you get this huge roll. And what I want to do with this is make a little sisal woodland animal peeking out of the pumpkin. I thought that'd be really cute. And then I decided which woodland animal I wanted to do. And I decided I wanted to make a raccoon. So let me show you how I did it. It's my first sisal animal. I've bought these before. I love them, but I wanted to see if I could recreate it. So I start with aluminum foil. I tried a small piece at first and it just wasn't large enough. So I got a way bigger piece of Reynolds wrap. It can be any kind of aluminum foil. And I'm just trying to shape it into like kind of like a head or a snout of a raccoon. So I kind of don't really care. It can be flat on the back, but I just kind of want to have a little bit of a pointier snout like a raccoon would have. But this is the basic shape that I came up with. I went online to try to find out how to make the little sisal animals because I love them. They suggested aluminum foil and pantyhose, and I'll try to find that video and post it below. They had a lot of great ideas. And so I'm just using old pantyhose, like any kind of a flesh color would be good. And I just cut off enough to go over the whole thing. And then it's just a matter of hot gluing the pantyhose just to go up next to the aluminum foil. You don't want like lots of overhanging fabric. The pantyhose works great because it gives you something to glue to besides the aluminum foil. And it just gives it a little bit more shape here. So I just glue down all the loose edges. And if I do have some excess nylon, I just go ahead and trim that off. So that's the first step of a raccoon. It doesn't look like a raccoon, does it? Now, this DIY, I can't say it was easy. It was harder than I thought it was going to be just because it's time consuming. But I'll take you through all the steps of it because it turned out so cute. It's like one of my favorite DIYs I've ever made. So this is the sisal twine. I was trying to figure out how I could create this little guy without like actually having to cut and glue on each individual piece of sisal. And I really couldn't come up with any good ideas. And so that's what it's going to take. So I just start taking the sisal twine and I start cutting it. I'm just going for like larger than an inch. I'm not really measuring it or anything like that. Just trying to get about the same size. And then I just put a little band of hot glue down and working quickly, I try to lay as many of those as I can, facing towards the back. The back part there is the straight part is like the back of the head. And so I'm going to have like overlapping sisal twines. So it'll kind of look like fur in the final project. So I just went ahead and did one row for the back and then lots of cutting and gluing on this project, probably lots more cutting. I'm getting all those little individual pieces. Now you don't have to use sisal twine, but I really want it to be authentic. When I looked online, there was different kinds of fibers that you could use, but none of my stores really carried anything. Other ideas were like flax fiber, coconut fibers. There were some other ideas that you could use for this, but usually they use sisal. Now, I think that the sisal, it's pretty thin, but I don't know if it's quite as thin as some of the ones that I have actually bought pre-made, but I think it did a pretty good job. So as you can see, I'm just doing one row at a time. I'm doing the top of the little raccoon head, and I'm slightly overlapping, making the hair go back towards the back of the head as I work my way up to the little snout, the little nose here of a raccoon. And I'm just doing the top part just to kind of get my bearings here. If you wanted to go all the way around with each row, you could totally do that. So now that I got the front done, I'm just going to go ahead and do the sides. And I'm going to overlap them and kind of continue that same line that I did on the top. Now, I did have less room on the bottom because of the shape of it. So I'm kind of glad that I did the top and the bottom separately because I did do less rows on the bottom. And it made it a little bit easier, and you're not really going to be able to see it down there. So this is my other side, just one piece at a time here. I do try to put a band of hot glue, and so I don't have to hot glue every single one on, but I got the top, both sides done, and then I did a little bit more here on the nose to fill it all the way in. This little guy turned out so cute. My son was home visiting for college for Labor Day weekend. His friend had a party, and I was so happy to see him. So I was so glad that I had somebody to show this DIY to, because he's always my biggest fan. So this is the bottom. I think I did like maybe only 3 rows on the bottom. It really didn't need very much. And now it's time for a haircut. Everything seems to be really secure. And so I'm cutting like against the grain and just trimming all over just to try to shape it up a little bit. Just to make it look more like raccoon fur, I guess. And again, it's a little thicker, you know, than you would traditionally see for fur, but it totally gives you that same vibe that you get from the little sisal animals. Next up, I just need some thin cardboard, so I'm just going to use a food box, like from some macaroni and cheese, and I'm just going to cut out 2 little raccoon ears. They kind of have an ear that's shaped kind of like a cat ear, so I'm kind of thinking cat ear here with like a rounded triangle. And I'm going to need 2 of them, so I'm just trying to cut down 2 of those about the same size and to scale for our little head. Now you could cover that with pantyhose first, but I didn't think it would really be necessary. So again, I'm just taking those little sisal pieces and hot gluing them into a triangular shape here. Just trying to fill up as much of the triangle as I can with those. And since it is an ear, you might be able to see it from behind, so I will have to flip it over and add some of the sisal to the other side too. But this is the first side, and I'm just making them longer than they need to be just because my pieces are a little bit longer, but I can always go back and trim them once I have them all glued down. So this is the back. Mine was blue from the box, but it doesn't really matter because we are going to paint these because I want it to be like traditional colors for raccoons. So I don't think that's going to matter. So I just trimmed my 2 ears. And we're only going to do the raccoon head, so that is all the construction on that. I know that was a lot. So now it's time to paint our little raccoon. The first step is I'm going over everything with just some white acrylic. And I am using a Dollar Tree brush to kind of like get down in there between the different fibers, especially since I have kind of like overlapping rows. And the pantyhose doesn't show like through too much, the nylon. But if I can, I try to kind of paint that white as well to kind of make it all blend in. So I'm just going all the way around this little raccoon head. I was like about halfway through this project and I was like, man, I don't know if this looks anything like a raccoon. It really didn't to me, but it came together so cute. I can't wait for you guys to see how it turned out. So once I got the snout painted, I did the same thing here with our little raccoon ears. Just giving them a nice coat of paint on everything, trying to cover up the cardboard that was behind it as well. Now for traditional like raccoon colors, I want my raccoon to be gray. I kind of had a little bit darker color gray, so I'm just lightening it with a little bit of white paint. And then we are going to paint like the back part here of a raccoon head, the like last 2 rows there on the back of the head, that gray color. And then a little bit between the eyes there. That's going to give me that classic raccoon face. He's going to have like the white face with the black markings, but a little bit gray there on the back of his head. And then I'm going to go ahead and paint the ears too. I kind of did the white on these just to kind of give me a base coat to cover up the box and everything. So I just do gray all over those, and we will paint those different colors as well. So the inside of the ear, we are just doing white, and I just paint like a triangular shape of white acrylic in there. And then I'm going in with black. Now raccoons have like, the black area around their eyes. I'm going to kind of have it like be where the eye is, and then it kind of go down like cheek part with the black, trying not to get it too much out of that little general area. And then I turn it over and do the same thing here with the little raccoon markings on the other side. We're also going just to DIY the little raccoon eyes and nose with some with an item from the Dollar Tree, so that'll be nice and easy too. Now, I was really trying to find something that I could use from the Dollar Tree. I thought about like unwinding their brown rope, but it kind of gives you like a curvy texture. I even thought about trying to dismantle some burlap ribbon, but in the end, I'm glad that I went to Walmart and just went ahead and got the sisal, because sometimes Dollar Tree doesn't have everything that we need for crafting. Now for the ears, as you can see, I just painted a little black triangle on the middle, and we are going to attach those with toothpicks. So I just hot glued toothpicks to the back, and then I just poke my little raccoon ears right inside the aluminum foil head there. And I do the same thing with the other side. The toothpick really keeps it in place. I didn't really have to use hot glue for that step. Okay, it's time for eyes and nose, and I'm just going to use some of this Model Magic from Dollar Tree. I didn't have any black, which was surprising because I have lots of colors, but I had white, so I'll just paint it, no big deal. I just take a little tiny piece of the Model Magic and just do a little triangular nose, kind of like any animal like that would have, and kind of round it, and then 2 tiny pieces for eyes. They kind of have larger eyes that are round, and so I do 2 little round eyes and just kind of checking on my nose, trying to make sure it's not too big. I didn't carve any nostrils or anything in it. I thought that was a little bit over the top, so I'm just going to attach it with hot glue, and that Model Magic does get hard over time. I've DIY'd with it a lot, and I always love the results. Now right here where the little black eye spots are is where I'm going to hot glue on our little eyes. And mine aren't hard yet, but they will harden up. But I can still go ahead and paint them at this point, and so that's what I do. I just use a tiny brush, and I am going to paint both of our little raccoon eyes black. And I'm also going to paint the little nose of the raccoon black too, just trying to make sure that I don't get any on my little raccoon face. What do you guys think? Isn't he so cute? I absolutely love this little guy, and I want him like he's inside the pumpkin peeking out. So I use like the little raccoon head for reference, and I just kind of mark out how big I'm going to need the hole to be because I don't want it to be too large. I just want him peeking out of the hole like there's just enough room for him. So now it's just time to carve this Dollar Tree pumpkin. I just used a small knife and just started carving. It is solid with styrofoam like all the way through, but I initially got my little bit of opening here where I could carve that out, and then I can go a little bit deeper because I do want it to be inside the little pumpkin peeking out, and I want it to have plenty of space for his head to fit in there. So I just cut it out a little smaller than needed and then just made it a little bit larger with the carving until he fit in there perfectly. Now, the styrofoam is a little messy, but I was able to carve out enough space for him, and I also want to do enough space for like 2 little paws sticking out underneath of his face. I thought that would be a really cute touch as well. Maybe a little bit more, and I think we're ready. Now for his paws, I was thinking popsicle sticks, and I grabbed a couple different sizes, and I think the smaller one there is the one that I'm going to choose. I think that's going to be a really good scale. These things are so easy to cut. You can just cut them with scissors. I just cut 2 down. I want the little rounded ends because they remind me of what paws would look like for this little guy, right? So I do have to cut down some more sisal and hot glue the sisal to it so I can give it like the same kind of fur that the raccoon had. Kind of forgot about that when I was doing the other part, but you could totally do this step in advance while you had everything going for that. So I just did 2 rows overlapping with the fur kind of pointing down for the paws, and then I just go back with my scissors, give it a haircut, and trim up the paws to kind of give them that paw shape. And they're just going to be one color, so I'm just going to do gray paint on these, and those will be ready to go. You're not going to be able to see the back of them, so I don't really need to do anything back there. And I want it to be like he's peeking out of the pumpkin, maybe a few fall leaves too. I think that will look really cute. So there's his paws. I got those all completed and dried, and now we can start putting it together. I was trying to decide what kind of leaves I wanted to use. I wasn't a big fan of these bold colors with this little guy, but I thought I would try it out. And I decided I wanted a little bit more neutral color, even though I have a lot of color with that green pumpkin. I thought these leaves from the Dollar Tree would be perfect. They're like kind of a golden and like tan color. I think that'll be better. So I think 2 leaves is plenty, just to kind of peek out the bottom here where he's going to have his paws, just to give it a little touch of fall. So I just hot glue both of those in our little hole we carved in the pumpkin. And then the paws can kind of sit on it like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and just hot glue those in place. You could add them later. I'm just going to go ahead and add those now. And then I have to figure out a way to get my raccoon's head to stick to the pumpkin. Now you can use any kind of dowel for this. Sometimes I like to pick up things on clearance, like these cuticle sticks, because I like to use them for crafting. And it's basically a dowel, and it's a nice small size, and that's what I use. I just put it in the aluminum foil head, and then I just stab through the foam there in the pumpkin, and he fits nicely in there. I want him tucked in the pumpkin a little bit, so it really gives you that effect that he is peeking out. And this is how he turned out. Isn't he just the cutest thing? I have such a soft spot for raccoons. I know they're pests, but they're so cute. My son's campus has them, and we've seen them a couple times there, and he always gets a kick out of them as well. But this is how it turned out. My little sisal raccoon creature for fall, my little woodland animal, peeking out of a Dollar Tree green pumpkin with a few leaves as well. And I'll give you a closer view of this too to kind of show you the different dimensions of this guy, because he's just my favorite. He might be one of my favorite DIYs I've ever made. I absolutely love him, and I'm totally on the bandwagon. I totally want to make more like little sisal animals like him because he's so cute. Okay, the next DIY is going to be way easier. I designed a great printable of a squirrel and some pumpkins to put on a Dollar Tree acorn. So this is just an acorn sign from the Dollar Tree, just the plain wood one. And I made this 8.5 by 8.5 inches, the image. Mine kind of shrank it down to 97% because I don't have like edge-to-edge printing, but that's fine. And I will include a link to the printable in the video description below. And I just set my acorn right on top and just trace out like the bottom part of the acorn so that I can cut that down to size. I printed this on white cardstock. I get this at Target, like by the ream. I like to Mod Podge with this because it doesn't wrinkle. It's so easy to cut and to craft with, and I think it turned out cute. So I think this image is really pretty for like a woodland animal theme. So all it's going to take is a little bit of Mod Podge here all over the little acorn, and then just laying the cardstock on there. And then I'm going to do something else for the little acorn cap. Once I get it on there and dry, I do go over it with one more coat of Mod Podge just to seal that on there. give it a finished look. It's going to make it look a lot less like paper and more like a finished item. Now, I was trying to decide what to do with the acorn cap, and I wanted something with some texture, so I decided to use Dollar Tree rope, the brown rope, and more specifically, this is like the thinner kind. Now, it's kind of an arched shape there for the acorn cap, so I'm going to kind of go with that and do rows of rope. You could also use, there's so many things from Dollar Tree you could use for this. If you wanted texture, you could also use burlap. I think that would look really cute too. I just wanted to kind of see what it would look like with rope. So I hot glue that along this end and then cut it down to size. And then I'm just going to keep doing that until I go down and it will meet up with the picture and cover up the top of the image. Now, I was kind of confused, like if I could keep doing that same length. I decided I didn't want it to be super thick on the sides once I started getting down on the image that's on the acorn. And so once I get like the cap part full for the sides, I decided to start making it a little bit smaller. So after this row, I start shortening them a little bit because I still have area I need to fit in there. And, you know, my sheet of paper is only so big. So I just make it, you know, like a 1/2 inch shorter there on the side, on both sides. And it kind of gives you an interesting texture there. And then I make this one a little bit shorter as well. And that's going to be good because that's going to cover up all of the paper and seal that in. Then I'm just going to cut some smaller pieces of rope to do the very top part. I just left the existing hanger on there. We'll just kind of glue that under there and we could still use the existing hanger. And that's how easy this DIY was. I think it turned out so cute. Look at this beautiful image. I love this, and I will share this in my Google Drive so you can print this, create the same thing. I just need a little bit of trimming around my little acorn cap there with the rope just to make sure I don't have any hanging off the ends. And this is how he turned out. I love the colors. I love the green and the orange and that beautiful watercolor of a squirrel. And this is how it turned out. I think it's really pretty and it looks great with my little raccoon. So my little squirrel acorn DIY is complete. He's kind of a fat little squirrel there, isn't he? He's so sweet. I love his little ears standing straight up. Okay, the next DIY, I think this is new this year. I've never seen them, but this year at Dollar Tree, they have fox signs. So I wanted to see if I could do a really cool take on the little fox sign from Dollar Tree. So the first thing I do is just remove the hanger and fill the little hole in with a little spackle. I want to paint the squirrel to look like a fox, but I also wanted to have fur like a fox. So I'm going to use that Dollar Tree pampas grass that you saw there for in the fall colors. And this turned out so fun. But the first step is to paint it. So I'm just going over the entire fox sign with white acrylic. And the fox is going to have some white parts, so that will be good for that. It has the raised tip of the foxtail and the raised top part of its head. Also, like the raised eyes and one of the little fox legs. Now, like a fox's eyes are really like in the orange part, not necessarily the white part, but I know that a lot of signs design it this way. Now I was trying to match that pampas grass that I got at Dollar Tree, so I used a little golden sunset mixed with a little bit of orange for my perfect fox color. And then I'm just going to go in and start painting this. It's a little tricky when you get to like the little bump out parts there, trying not to get like orange paint all over them. But I can always touch them up if I do. So I just start with a little foxtail. They kind of have like a little white area of fluffy fur that comes down on their chest. So I do kind of like a triangular shape there. I'm going to leave that white and then paint the little fox body, that beautiful gold color. And then also this little bump out part here where his ears and the top of his head, that beautiful golden color. I did get a little paint on the white, but I'm just going to go in with my baby wipe and kind of clean that up and touch it up with some more white paint. So if you're a little bit neater of a painter than me, then you might not get any on there, but I did have to touch it up a little bit there. Now it's time to do the rest of it. I kind of wanted it to look fluffy here for the little chest of the fox. So I do like a little graduated look, and then I'm also going to use that same golden color for his eyes. Now I'm going to give him his little black fox boots because I want him to look really super cute. So I just kind of give it a regular edge at the top, kind of like you would see on fur. And then also this little foot that's peeking out is going to be black too. Now the eyes were a little tricky because they were shaped kind of uniquely. I didn't know if they wanted me to do like closed eyes or open eyes. So I did the golden. I tried to outline it with a paint pen, but I thought it was too thick. So I went back and did it with a black Sharpie. It's going to give me a little bit finer line here. And then I'm also going to give little like kind of square pupils. And I can do that with a black paint pen to make them a little bit darker. And then I'm going to give him a little tiny fox nose right here underneath where the little bump out part is. I just do a little black triangle. And I want it to go all the way up and meet the golden. So I use a little tiny brush and some black paint to help fill that in a little bit. I don't want to give him a super big nose, just something nice and cute there. And I want it to look like a little triangle. I think he's looking super cute. I'm going to give a little like white reflection here in the pupil of his eye just to give that a little bit more character. And now it's time for fox fur. So this is the pampas grass that we're going to use. I got one sprig of this color and I thought it would be perfect for fox fur. I don't know why I thought that, but I just did. So I'm just going to take one piece of the pampas grass at a time. And then I'm just going to remove the pampas grass to make it look like fur. I try to just do half of it and then a bundle of it. Try to get a good control of that. And then just start using some hot glue here on the little foxtail and start gluing that down. I'm going to do kind of like fur similar to the sisal that we used on the raccoon, where it kind of overlaps a little bit. And it all kind of goes in one direction. And I'm just hot gluing that all in place. Now, when you're first putting it on there, it kind of looks like a mess because you're going around all these different angles. But just remember, you can always go back and give it a trim and it's going to make it look cleaner. Now, I painted it orange underneath because, of course, there's going to be lots of areas where there isn't any of the fur. So you're going to be able to see that through there. And I think they complement each other nicely. I think we did a good job there on the color. So just going to cover the rest of his body here, letting a little bit extra fluff come down on his chest like a little fox. And then we're going to start here on the head, making the fur kind of go back towards the back of the head. And I don't give a lot of details to his ears. He's just going to have furry little fox ears. And I pretty much used the entire piece of pampas grass until I got enough to cover it all up. I don't want the hot glue to be real noticeable, so I try to like clean up any like glue strings and stuff like that we might have. And now it's time. He needs a little fox trim. So I'm going to go in with my scissors and cut around the shape of the fox sign to cut off any of the fur that's too long or overlapping things too much. And then I'm also going to trim it up a little bit just to make it look a little bit better. I kind of like the extra fluff here on his little chest. And I didn't really think that you got like the white fur effect that I wanted for the fox chest. So I am going to add to that to make it look a little fluffier there. But just going to go ahead and trim his head, just going around the shape of that little bump out. It's okay if it overlaps a little bit. I just want him to look really furry like a fox. I'm so glad I decided to add the pampas grass to this guy because I think he has so much character now. I just absolutely love him. So once I got the shape all cut out, I just go in and trim here and there, wherever I think he needs a little bit of a trim. And then I want to take this and put it on another sign to kind of make a little bit more of a more substantial piece. And I couldn't decide at first what I wanted to put it on, so I thought I would make him first and then decide from there. Now this is what I'm going to use for the fluff for his chest. This is the white automotive towel from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to take a little piece here and cut a little triangular piece for his little fluffy fox chest. So I just kind of cut that down to size of his neck and then cut a triangular shape. And then I also want it to look fluffy. So I just do little cuts along the sides to give it that extra little fluffy furry look. And this is already a really kind of fluffy fabric. And then I'm just going to hot glue that right there underneath the little fox head, kind of overlapping our little pampas fur. And then I decided to do it on a Dollar Tree wood round. I think that's going to be a really nice size. And I found these great placemats on clearance at Target the other day. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove the hanger. I don't really like the hanger that comes on those. Replace that with some twine so that I can knot it in the front. So I just use Dollar Tree twine, feed it through, knot it in the front. And then we're going to use one of those great placemats from the Dollar Tree for the front. Not the Dollar Tree, actually from Target. These were on clearance for $1.80 at my Target in the kitchen section, and you get 2. So they're only 90 cents a piece, so cheaper than the Dollar Tree. But look at this great fabric. I went back today to get more. I had grabbed 2 packages of them before, and I wish I would have grabbed more because I absolutely loved crafting with these. So cool. I'm going to kind of use mine upside down. I like the texture on the bottom a little better, and it's larger than I need for the wood round sign. Now I do have those knots coming through with the hanger, so I decided just to go ahead and kind of include that in my design. Because there's holes in this, I can just kind of feed the little knot through. So instead of a bump, I actually have like the rope coming through, and I'll just add another little texture to the front of my sign. So I just kind of find out where that is. Then using like a little Cricut leader, I just kind of feed that through. And then we can start attaching this. I do half of it at a time because I don't want my hot glue to set up. So I do the top half. I just line this up. I'm going to have a couple extra rows around the edges to cut off, and then I want to go ahead and hot glue the bottom half on. And this was so easy to trim. This is why I went back today trying to find more of these. Maybe I should go to a Target in another town because I want more of these. I think these would be great for coastal crafting, also great for fall crafting. So I just trimmed that down to the size of my wood round from the Dollar Tree, and it looks so much more high-end now. And I think that's going to provide a really cute backdrop for this beautiful little furry fox. And he's going to fit on there just perfectly. I thought about adding a word to it, but I decided I just wanted maybe a few fall touches. So this is how he looks on there. Isn't that so darling? And all I have to do is attach it, so I'm just going to hot glue him straight to the placemat. I use a lot of hot glue because I don't want him falling off. And then there's a little bit of area to the right of his head there where I do have some room for some fall touches. But this is what he looks like so far. I decided to use those same fall leaves that we used on our little raccoon pumpkin with like the 2 different colors. They complement the fox really nicely. So I'm just going to do 2. I just cut the stems off of them, and I'm just going to hot glue them right next to him, just kind of alternating the colors. And it gives it just a little touch of fall for our little fox sign. Look how cute he turned out. I'm absolutely in love with this little guy as well. So here's our little pampas grass furry fox using supplies from the Dollar Tree and a clearance placemat from Target. He's so cute. I'm so glad I decided to give him little black boots there. I think that's so fun. If you recreate this, you'll have to show me in our Facebook group. I would love to know what you did with your eyes. Hey guys, I wanted to tell you about that Facebook group. I always have it linked in the description below. I'd love to see you over there. You'll find out when I post new videos, and I would love to see what you're crafting. I also have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and Threads, and my handle is Crafty Beach on YouTube. Okay, the next item is from the Target Dollar Spot. Check out this cool tray I got there just the other day in their Halloween section. It's $5, and I don't really think it's Halloween. I think it's more fall. It's plastic. It's very lightweight, but look how it looks just like a tree stump. It's not shiny or anything like you would normally see from plastic. It's got this beautiful texture all over, and I thought this would make a really cute little fall tray using some woodland animals. So let me show you how I decorated mine. I'm going to use this little round metal sign from Dollar Tree. I love the base on that, and then some of these little rub-on transfers from the Dollar Tree fall section as well. Now, I'm just going to go over the flat part of the sign there with some ivory chalk paint. I chose chalk paint just because it would be a little bit thicker because I have a lot of black writing I need to cover up on there. And it still took like 3 or 4 coats so that you couldn't read that. But I just do a thin coat at a time, drying in between, and then we can go ahead and add those rub-on transfers. I'm going to combine several of those together to do a really cute little fall sign for the tray. Something that stands up that you can read. It's not a super large tray, so it's not going to take a whole lot to decorate this. Aren't these images like so cute? I chose Hello Autumn. I thought that would be really cute on there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that down and scrape that on. Now, the chalk paint did kind of give me a dry surface, so I found that I did have to scrape kind of more than I usually have to with these, but always test before you pull it up all the way to make sure it's down, because you can just lay it back down and continue scraping it. I thought this image was really nice, but it doesn't really fit with the round shape, but that's okay. You can always cut these down exactly to what part you need. And I'm just going to do that, maybe a few fall leaves just to kind of fill in like the little circular pattern to go all the way around the circle. And we're going to have a little custom fall sign for this. It's just a matter of scraping these all on and peeling off the plastic. Now, this sign does have like a little flat base, and so I want to decorate that too with some fall items, and we're going to be doing lots of woodland animals on the little tree stump tray, so I thought acorns would be perfect for that. So we're going to use Dollar Tree acorns, and these are the ones that are already the right color and everything, and I got a new Ryobi glue gun to replace the one that was not working properly. So this is my first test of this. Amazon did replace it, which is great. Thank you, Amazon. I have not put it in my shop below, I do not think, because I want to see if this one works better than the last one, because my other one, the little hot glue sticks were melting inside and getting stuck. And I never had that problem with my larger one, so I want to try it out for you before I recommend it. Now I use a little bit of floral moss combined with the acorns to decorate the base of this, and we can put this on the back here of our little tree stump. So cute. Now to decorate it, Dollar Tree has these great woodland animals, including this adorable little squirrel. He's perfect. He's holding a little acorn, and he's painted very nice. He's got lots of texture. He's even smiling. So we're going to place him right here in front of our tree stump. To go with him, I also found a raccoon at Dollar Tree. He's holding a little pine cone. I love the painting and the detail on him. He's so cute. They had these last year at Dollar Tree too. I'm in love with them. I think they're just so adorable. I thought the pine cone was a little dark and could be painted a little better, so I just went over mine with this teddy bear color of paint just to lighten it up a little bit. You might want to do a little bit darker than that, but a pine cone shouldn't be super dark, so I thought that made it look a little bit better, and it wasn't painted so nicely. We're going to put the little raccoon here on the other side of our little squirrel. And then I also got a Dollar Tree fox. Look how cute he is. He has a little mushroom, and I think he's perfect. I don't think there's enough room to put him on the tray because the tray, again, is not large, but I thought it'd be really cute to put it like next to the tray, like next to the tree, and kind of get the same fun effect. Then I just need very little filler to fill it up. So I'm going to use some of these like orange leaves from the Dollar Tree just to kind of fill up any spaces that aren't filled up, and that's going to give me a little touch of fall here. And this was just a quick, easy Dollar Tree and Dollar Spot tray for fall. Look how much fall goodness you get there, and this was so easy to do because most of the items were ready to go and inexpensive as well, so you can't beat that, right? So if you see this little tree stump at your Target Dollar Spot, I had to go to another town because my Target Dollar Spot has just not been bringing it with the selection. Pick it up because look how cute it is. You could use this basically for any season, I think, as well. And that's one thing I like about it. Just adding the fall leaves to it is going to give it that fall touch. Now, I found some other items at the Dollar Tree today, and they were so cute. So I wanted to make a little stand to display them. I wanted something rustic to go with like the woodland animal theme. So I'm going to use these little wood round signs from Dollar Tree. I don't need the little hangers on them though. Be super careful when you remove the staples from the side. These things can fall apart. I wanted to combine these with some of the Dollar Tree dowels to make a cute little like 3-tier stand to hold these adorable items that you're going to see here in a minute. Now, these dowels from the Dollar Tree are bigger than any of the dowels in the Dollar Tree I've ever found before. You could always use the smaller ones. You could always use a pumpkin plunger as well. My husband lent me this fancy drill bit to do a nice hole that would be big enough for the whole dowel to go through, but it was a fail. So it busted my little tree slice, but that's okay because I happen to have a spare, thank goodness. So I'm not going to be able to drill through them like I wanted to, so I'm going to have to find another way to construct this. So I cut my dowel down into 2 smaller pieces, and I tried attaching it with hot glue at first. I want like this one to go off to the side a little bit. I want this to have like 3 shelves because I found 3 of the cutest little woodland animal things that I wanted to add. But as you can see, hot glue alone is not going to cut it. So I do have some Dollar Tree nails. So I'm going to go ahead and nail directly into the dowel from the bottom of the wood slice to hold that in place. And then for the middle piece, I kind of wanted it to be a 2-directional piece. So I wanted a nail to be coming from the bottom and a nail to be going down. That way I could go ahead and put the next dowel on it and kind of build it upwards. Now that nail coming up though was a fail. It didn't work. But this nail going down into my dowel was a success. So I'm just going to nail that in place. The hot glue kind of gave it a temporary hold, but the nail is great because it allows you to pivot it if you want to kind of readjust your tray. Now this was me trying to attach the dowel to the other nail, but it just wasn't going to work. So I decided to change my plan here. Maybe have a second shelf coming out the other side and just make the second dowel a little bit shorter. So I cut that down a little bit. We're going to glue it here on the back here of the wood slice. And I used the larger wood slice on the bottom, hot glued it into place, and then I go back in with a nail to nail that in place to give it some, to make it sturdy. And the items I'm going to add to it from the Dollar Tree are not too heavy, so this doesn't have to be super heavy duty, but it worked in the end. So I have 3 trays, all different sizes, super rustic, that can hold these little animals. Then I decided I kind of wanted it to have feet, my little tray, right? So I'm going to use some of these wood stems from Dollar Tree, try to find 4 that are about the same height, and then I'm just going to hot glue 4 little legs onto our tray. I know some of you guys were saying you were having a hard time finding those at your store, and my store is very hit or miss with them too, but sometimes when I can't find them at my store, I do buy those on Amazon, and I think I do have those linked in my Amazon shop below. This is how my little tray turned out. It's not how I originally envisioned it, but we're going to make it work. Now, these are what I found at Dollar Tree today. I've never seen them before. There's a little hedgehog pumpkin. He's kind of missing a spike, but I don't think you'll be able to see. Isn't he so cute? And I knew I had to include these in this video today. So I'm going to put him right there on our bottom little wood slice. Up next is a little blue pumpkin that looks like a raccoon. Isn't he so adorable? So we're going to use that here over on the side. And then a little orange pumpkin that looks like a fox. Have you guys seen these at your Dollar Trees before? I was so happy when I found these. I just had to have them. And I just wanted to find a fun way to display them. And these wood slices from the Dollar Tree worked out great. Just trying to make sure everything's sort of balanced. And then fill up some of the dead areas, kind of cover up some of the nails with just some of this brown, like floral moss from Dollar Tree. It's a little messy, but it definitely gives you like a little touch of fall. And I think it looks really cute here. So here's our little Dollar Tree DIY guest tier tray with some pumpkins that look like little woodland animals. We have a fox, a raccoon, and I guess a little hedgehog pumpkin. I thought they were so cute. I hope you do too. And then if you want something that's more of a traditional tier tray, that's what we're going to do next. We're going to do a 2-tier tray. I love this 2-tier tray. I got it on Amazon. I think it's beautiful. I love the rectangular shape. And we are going to give it a woodland animal makeover here. So the first step, I'm going to use reindeer moss from Dollar Tree because I kind of want to give it the feeling of a forest floor. And this is the tier tray that I did for fall last year. And so I loved it. It woodland animals, so I wanted to include it in today's video as well. So I'm just going to break up the reindeer moss here all over. I think it looks just like moss you would find in the forest, and kind of do like a little bed of that on the top and also on the bottom before we start decorating this to look like woodland animals and a little forest. I think this looks really cool. Just trying to break it up, trying to have enough to kind of be peeking out wherever I'm going to kind of need it. And then we can start decorating it. The first step is I wanted to do a fun little fall tree on my tier tray. And I decided to do it with the blue leaves from Dollar Tree just because I love blue. I thought it would be fun. But you could do it with more traditional colors as well. So the first step is I am just cutting my tags off, and then I'm just going to use some Dollar Tree twine, and I'm going to tie that to the middle pole of my tier tray to try to make that look like a tree. You might have to use your imagination. But I thought like the wood pole could be the tree, and then all the fall leaves could be my little blue fall leaves. Super fun. Just a matter of holding those in place and tying them on with some Dollar Tree twine, which was a little tricky, and I might have needed a third hand here. But once I get one knot, it was a little bit easier. I just want enough just to kind of keep that in place and for it not to fall over like that. So I decided to do a second row of twine here to make sure that doesn't happen again. And then I'll cover all that to kind of make it look more like a tree. And so you won't see all the plastic pieces of the leaves. Now for my tree, I'm going to use some of this great birch ribbon from Dollar Tree. I love this stuff. I think it's so cool. And it's going to give it like that bark image on the tree. And I think that's going to work out great. Isn't it cool? I love DIYing with this, especially for fall. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut off some pieces that I can use to wrap around that top tier pole to cover up all of the plastic. Gonna take my hot glue gun and just kind of assemble it here on my tier tray. Kind of have to do that. I just glue it to itself, and I'm gonna make a little faux tree trunk right here in the middle of my tier tray. It's gonna hide all the plastic parts of my leaves. And then I cut 2 of those pieces, so now I can go in with the second piece to make my tree a little taller. And I think that's a fun little effect for the top of my tier tray. That is how it turned out, with all my blue leaves peeking out at the top. Up next, I wanted to make a cute little banner for my tier tray. I always think that's so fun. So I'm going to use some Dollar Tree twine and some Dollar Tree ribbon. This is actually from Easter. I buy it every year because I love it because it's nice and blue and white. I can use it for coastal. I can use it for whatever. And since we kind of have a blue theme going on this little woodland creatures tier tray, I'm going to cut little blue pennant banners. I'm avoiding the wire parts. I just want the ribbon parts. Just cutting enough triangles to make a cute little pennant banner to go on the front of the tier tray. I think that always gives your tier tray so much personality when it has one of these. So I cut down 5. I usually like to do odd numbers like that. I just found the middle of my twine, and we are simply just going to hot glue these on, just kind of spacing them out evenly the best that we can. It's just going to be a very rustic little mini pennant banner. Just a few more pieces here. And I love making these. I make these for my coffee bar, I make them for my tier trays. Anytime I can add a little banner, I'm definitely going to do it. Super cute and really fun for a little pop of blue. And I just hang that on the top. I just do a little dot of hot glue on both sides of my tier tray, so I don't really damage anything, but that's gonna hold it in place, give it a little color, and look fun there on the front of our little woodland animal tier tray. Now this is a thrift find. I found this half price at Goodwill, and you can tell it's been broken. It looks really old, and I absolutely love it. It's made out of like a cast, like it's made out of maybe plaster or Paris or something like that. But look how it looks like it's all carved. I think it's so pretty. So he's the star of my show. I got him for like $1, and I just put him right on the front. Now, remember this little guy? This is the one they had last year. So it was a squirrel holding a pine cone instead of an acorn. And yes, I know the difference. I know. I called pine cones acorns in my candle video. A million of you guys have told me. It was like 3 a.m. when I had to do that voiceover. So forgive me. I know they were pine cones. I know. I tried to go in and edit it, but once you got sound up on YouTube, there is no editing. So I think he's going to look really cute there on the tier tray. Up next, these mushrooms. I got these in every color this year, but these are the blue ones. I think they're so cute, and I think they go great with like a forest theme or with woodland animals for fall. So I'm just going to use a couple of those to decorate our tier tray. Now, on their own, they don't like want to stand up on their own because the bottom is a little bit rounded and they're very lightweight because they're made out of foam. So I'm just going to make little bases for mine with the little wood cubes from the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree, just to make the bottom heavy, make the bottom flat, and I can kind of hide that down in all the moss that we have going on the tray. But just in case I can't, I'm going to go ahead and attach a little moss with just hot glue there going around the edges to kind of disguise those. Just kind of a problem solver there to get those to stand up on their own and to weigh them down on the bottom, which is going to be necessary for them to stand upright. So I just take that same reindeer moss that we used on the tier tray and just hot glue it along the bottom on all 3. These were so cute. I wanted to use all of them on the tier tray. So I'm going to do one up here on the top, opposite our little squirrel we added. And then maybe a couple on the bottom. I did have a little bit of extra reindeer moss from that, so I'm going to add that to my tray as well to make it super full. So the other 2 are going to go down here on the bottom, maybe one on each side. Up next, I checked the pet aisle and I found a little dog toy that's actually a squirrel. So hey, I'm going to take advantage of that. I think he's going to look super cute on our tier tray, and he even squeaks. Some of their dog toys can be kind of ugly, but I think he's kind of cute, and I'm a big fan of squirrels, so I had to have him. Isn't he cute? So I think he'll look really cute on there. Even though it's like a stuffed animal, I like to use those sometimes on my tier trays because I think it's fun. So we're going to put him back there in the back because he's nice and tall. He can be our little squirrel on the bottom. Up next, this little guy is from Dollar Tree. They have these again this year. The little, I guess it's a hedgehog, right? Holding an apple. And he's so cute. Now, the apple's not painted great, and I had some red paint that I darkened a little bit, and we're just going to kind of update the paint on him, kind of like we did before with the pine cone on the raccoon. So he's also got like a little bit of a skinned up nose. Sometimes you can find these at the Dollar Tree and they're not perfect, but we're going to try to touch him up a little bit and just make him look a little bit better. I didn't have any paint that color though, so I'm trying to use a little bit of ivory and a little bit of antique wax by Waverly to try to kind of get close to that color. Just so I can kind of patch him up a little bit. I don't want his nose to look all skinned up like that. And I just kind of paint the tip of his nose. It's not the same color, but I think it looks better than a chip. And he's got little sleepy eyes on him. I think he's so cute. And I just had to have him on this little fall tier tray. Look at that big grin. I love these things. They're so adorable. I think they're great quality for $1.25 as well. We're going to place him right in front because he's a little bit shorter than our stuffed squirrel back there. And keep on finding items. Now, this was a Halloween costume from the Dollar Tree. It is the raccoon mask. And I saw it and I said, I wonder if I could make something for my woodland animal tier tray with this. And so I'm going to give it a go. It's just like the little mask part of a raccoon that they're so famous for. So I'm just going to cut the strap off of the mask. And I just want to kind of display that as is because it definitely looks like a cute little raccoon to me. But I want it to stand up since it's going to be on a tier tray. So I'm just going to simply glue the mask onto one of these little 5 Below Jenga blocks that I love to craft with. And it'll make just a very easy little stand here. I wasn't sure if it would fall over or not. So I take a couple of the Dollar Tree Jenga blocks too, glue those together and kind of glue that to the back just to make sure that it stands straight up. Kind of doing like an upside down T brace there. But I thought this would be really fun on the tier tray. You can kind of just see straight through. You're going to get that little raccoon mask effect. And I think that's going to look really fun on the tier tray. Who knew that you could craft with Dollar Tree costumes for your tier tray, right? I'm going to have him right here in the back because he's nice and tall, peeking out a little raccoon mask. Now, I thought we needed a tier tray, so I'm going to use some of the little wood foxes from Dollar Tree and then a little Dollar Tree fall sign. I picked this one because it was blue and I thought that would be cute. It would go with our blue theme on our tier tray. And I'm just going to pop off the little pumpkin that's kind of sticking out, trying to minimize the damage to the paper if I can. And then this is the little fox ornament that I need to cover up that area. So I think we can make this work. They do have little holes in them, but I'm going to try to fill that up and just do a cute little fall seam. I do use a little glue stick there just to try to glue my paper down, clean it up a little bit, and then fill that hole in with some spackle. Wanted to make sure this was going to work and which direction I wanted it to be so it's going to make it work the best before I put my spackle in there. And I think I decided. So I'm going to put it in this way from the back. That way it won't be super messy on the other side. And I wish they would make those ornaments without having a hole drilled into the heads because a lot of times you want to use them for crafting. You don't want to hang them. I hardly ever hang the ornaments from Dollar Tree. Now, it is a great wood, so I'm just going to go ahead and stain that with some antique wax by Waverly just to have a little wood fox for this cute little sign. And that way it's really pretty, the stained wood, and then you don't really have to go through and paint it all the different colors of the fox. So it makes it a little easier. I just do a thin coat of antique wax by Waverly all over and then wipe off the excess with a paper towel, like that beautiful wood grain behind it. Now, the frame on this existing sign is about the same color, so that's going to work really well. I do have to glue it exactly where I need to cover up the damage to the paper because I really liked the blue like wallpaper background there. So I did kind of have to off-center my little fox and the fox sign, but that's okay because then I have room for words, right? So I'm going to use the little Scrabble tiles from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to find the letters to spell out the word fall. I always pick those up when I see them because sometimes, you know, you have to have several packages to find all the letters that you're going to need. They also have them in black and white. I don't like those as well. I like these more traditional Scrabble tiles. They go with my crafting a little bit better. I was wondering, though, if I could stain them a little bit to make them a little bit darker to go with that. They are coated with like a lot of sealant, so I wasn't sure if this was going to work, but it's an experiment. I thought maybe we could add a little Antique Wax by Waverly Distressing on these, just to give them a little bit more color, maybe a little bit more wood grain, and it actually worked a little bit. So just distressing in one direction, and then kind of cleaning those up with a paper towel to wipe off any excess, and it did make them a little bit more colorful, and they're going to match that darker color of wood that we stained before. So it's going to go nicely right over here on the side where I have all this extra room, and I'm just going to go ahead and glue those in place, just kind of spacing them out by eye, just as even as I can get them. Great way to add a word to a sign, and you get that fun little Scrabble touch as well. So there he is, our little fall fox sign. Perfect size for a tier tray and super easy to DIY. We're going to put this right down here in the bottom in front of the post. Now, I also got one of the Dollar Tree foxes from Dollar Tree last year too, and this one has the little apple instead of the mushroom, so they did change them this year. Just now noticing that. They're all holding different items, but otherwise they look really similar. And I'm just going to go ahead and update the color of this apple too, just because I did before. I just made it a little bit darker, just personal preference. But you can totally use it, leave it bright red if you have one of these as well. I kind of like the items they're holding this year a little bit better. I did get some paint on my little fox. I'm going to have to clean him up a little bit. The fox is holding the mushroom this year, and the squirrel is holding the acorn, which makes a little bit more sense. But I think that looks really cute. So we're going to put him on the little woodland animal tier tray too. Down here on the bottom, opposite of our little hedgehog. Going to make some room in the moss for him. And he's so cute with his little sleepy eyes. I think this tier tray is really coming together. I'm just going to go ahead and finish it off with a little bit more moss I had left over just to make sure it is nice and full. And I think it really reminds me of the woods with our little tree. We have an owl, a squirrel, 2 squirrels, some foxes, a hedgehog. I love it. I hope you got loads of great ideas from that little woodland animal tier tray. Hey guys, I wanted to let you know I've introduced memberships on my channel. For $4.99 a month, you can help support me here on YouTube. Being a small channel is hard, and so this is going to give you early ad-free access to my videos and shout-outs. I want to give a huge thank you to my members. Thank you to Karen O'Haron, Coastal Couple, Pamela Bergeron, I Am Mojo Jojo, Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Sandra Ray, Carrie R, Tracy Knight, Verna Noctegal, Julie Miller, Nancy Warner, Jan Zalata, Tammy Coates, and Janae Farrington. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. I appreciate you so much. And now it's time for the final reveal. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. It really helps my videos. Comment your favorite woodland creature below that I did today. Or just come say hello in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers. Enjoy the final reveal.
If I'm lost along the way, if I wander off onto a different trail, will you forgive me if I fail when I'm lost and derailed? If I cry when I'm blue, if I cry alone when I am with you, will you forgive me if I do? If I cry when I'm blue, through wind and through rain, through trouble and pain, if ever my heart strains, will you pull me through like you always do when I am calling your name? When I am calling your name. If I'm wrong when you are right, if I'm only seeing things in black and white, will you forgive me tonight? If I'm wrong and you're right, through wind and through rain, through trouble and pain, if ever my heart strains, will you pull me through like you always do when I am calling your name? Through wind and through rain, through trouble and pain, if ever my heart strains, will you pull me through like you always do when I am calling your name? When I am calling your name. If I'm lost along the way.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you would like to watch more Crafty Beach, YouTube thinks you might enjoy this video right here.